Hello everyone, Risky Toothpick here, back again with some more Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot, the London case. And last time we tried to save a cat, but it looks like we need an item or something. There's something we're missing here to help them, so we're actually going to leave and come back later if we find the item we need. So we've been to Mortimer's office, we've been to the museum. Let's go to the newspaper office. Might be something of value there.
Gentlemen, what can I do for you?
Nathaniel.
I was hoping to speak with Mademoiselle Farquhar.
I'm afraid she already has her hands full with the story. Unless you've come with a bigger one than what she's working on.
We come with terrible news of the murder of a high-profile socialite.
Perhaps another time, gentlemen. We really are very busy.
Damn.
Perhaps another time, gentlemen. We really are very busy.
Whatever he's working on must be pretty big.
Perhaps another time, gentlemen. We really are very busy. Let's not be so hasty. That could be just what we need.
The thing about the girl wanting to leave show business.
Gentlemen, what can I do for you?
Oh, Miss Florence.
This is your office. It's very impressive.
Mademoiselle, would you have time to answer some questions?
I don't really have time right now. Perhaps we can schedule...
I assure you I shall remain focused and my questions relevant.
Fine. Make it fast.
All right, let's get some good things here. There was a fire at Mademoiselle Court-Smythe's loft apartment.
Is she all right?
I'm afraid not.
She big dead.
Heavens. How awful. Did she have any close relatives?
I do not believe so. And her parents have both passed also. She was the last remaining Court-Smythe.
A question I did not expect. Although at least she is showing some form of compassion for Mademoiselle Court-Smythe's family, or lack thereof.
Interesting. What was your relationship with the deceased?
I only met her recently in a professional capacity. What are they going to do with her exhibit?
I cannot say, but they may not be as forthcoming with her work now.
I'm sorry, Detective. I don't understand.
Mademoiselle Court-Smythe was behind the painting's disappearance, and a forgery was discovered in her apartment.
So she stole the original and made a forgery? What heavens for?
That we are still yet to learn.
Did you see Mademoiselle Court-Smythe following the gala?
Am I a suspect?
We are just trying to gather all the information. Isn't that right, Poirot?
Oui, that is correct.
I'm sorry. It's just a lot to take in at once. I was working late into the evening yesterday. I had to get my article on the gala written. And the photographs, they had to be developed. There was probably someone still around in the office if you wanted to check. I'm sure you want to have every I dotted and T crossed.
Yeah, that's a good reference right there. Monsieur Aylesworth recalls seeing you in the office.
Really? I must have been so busy not to notice him. At least you can be sure of where I was.
Was there anyone else present in the office?
If Mr. Aylesworth was there, Nathaniel, my editor, must have been.
It strikes me as rather strange that Mademoiselle does not recall seeing such an important figure in the office. But not everyone can be as observant as I.
Unless he was never here.
I shall speak with the editor, as he will be able to confirm the presence of both in the office.
Merci, mademoiselle. That is all for now.
Alrighty. So, we could fast travel. I don't really want to fast travel just yet. We can interact with her, but that's about it. Well, hold on. Just stop what you're doing. You're going crazy here. Okay, working late. That's about it. Okay, what's going on here? Let me get all the way on the other side of her. You just can't really interact with. It's really tough to interact with her. Let me go all the way around her. Come on, can we interact? Nope. Well, we're done there. For some strange reason, it's very difficult to interact with her. He's got to get like in a specific spot. Uh-oh. Okay. Like, I was getting a little worried there. I was like, we might not be able to get out. So how do we get the cat? That's the big thing. Well, let's go back over here. Let's talk to Betty. She might have more to say.
You're just full of questions, aren't you?
You have been...
Not really. The bird would probably draw out the cat. Realistically. Yeah, we already looked at the newspaper. Let's talk to Hastings again. See if he's got something he can say here.
What do you need? What?
Merci.
Nope. We already looked in the waste bin. We already have that letter, correct? So I'm guessing what we need for the cat can be found in the church. Oh yeah, we can't turn. I mean, if I could take one of these pigeons, I know that would work. That cat would be like, you know, his eyes would be super large. He'd be eyeballing them pigeons. He'd be like, ooh, that's something I want to get. Okay, so we can go back to the museum if we want. Let's go back to the newspaper office. Let's see if we can talk to someone else here. Or let's see if we can just talk to her again, because our guy does something crazy.
If you would be so kind. Merci, mademoiselle.
Okay, that's all for now. Let's go to the museum. Everything is starting to we're kind of starting to get limited, so it's really ending up being the church. But we're going to explore this area first. Let's go to the restoration table.
Aha.
There appears to be faint indentations on the paper. Even for my impeccable vision, they are still too faint to comprehend. Interesting. Okay, so wherever we're looking for is here.
Huh.
A book of oil paint pigments and how they're made. Hot on the culprit's heels. There appears to be faint indentations on the paper. Even for my impeccable vision, they are still too faint to comprehend. We need like charcoal or something. Maybe this will be enough to entice Bartholomew now. Ooh, we got the item. Cream. There we go. There's nothing else here that we can use. But maybe at the newspaper we can find some ink or something. Because that kind of makes sense. But let's go get that cat. I'm just glad we finally found the item, so I'm not like out here trying to figure everything out. So let's go back to the church. Let's see, you just get way over there. There we go. We're going to use an item. A hole big enough for a small creature to creep through. I wonder if there's a way to lure him out. Perhaps the jug of cream may be of some use.
Voila.
And there's the cat. Look at him go.
Your Grace, now that Bartholomew has been found, would you...
As my way of thanks, I'll answer your questions.
I'm glad we finally got him to help us here. So much effort to find a cat that after learning the circumstances of why it ran and hid, I imagine it did not want to be found by its owner. At least now Bishop Mountjoy has no excuse to ignore my questions. Good. Yeah, this church guy is very abusive to his cat, so I don't know. He kind of deserves to have some harsh treatment.
Very well. Get on with it.
What were your movements yesterday evening?
I hope that comes from an inquisitive nature rather than a place of accusation. I was at a museum trustees meeting, trying to finally make a decision on that girl.
Oh yeah, he hates that girl.
You mean Mademoiselle Warbeck?
Who else? She's running that museum into the ground.
And following the meeting?
I returned to the church to prepare for Compline prayers, although I don't think I was alone.
You don't think?
I got the feeling that someone had followed me from the museum. I never saw them, but I know what I felt.
Why would anybody follow him? If the bishop is correct, the murderer may have been stalking their potential next victim. What was your relationship to Mademoiselle Court Smythe?
None. I knew her merely by reputation, and a questionable one at that. Do you want to tell me what all these questions are about?
Mademoiselle Court Smythe was murdered last night.
If you plan on being the bearer of such news, perhaps you should think of going about it with a little more civility. How did the young girl die?
Hey, don't be telling him that good information.
There was a fire in her apartment, although it wasn't the flames that took her life, but poison.
Arson and poisoning. Oh, what is this world coming to?
Bishop Mountjoy claims he barely knew Mademoiselle Court Smythe, but still showed a level of empathy I was not expecting. Perhaps I judged his blunt facade too quickly.
No. Someone who is abusive to their cats? He's trying to trick you. And then the painting has been found.
Found it? Really? Oh, heavens be! The Lord has shown his will once more.
Well, technically we haven't found it. We found a fake.
I can only assume his delayed excitement came from being off guard. Unfortunately, I must turn his elation into disappointment.
If your Grace would allow me to finish. A forgery of it was found in Mademoiselle Court Smythe's apartment, but it was destroyed in the fire.
She was the thief all along? Well, that just... A forgery? You mean she made a copy of it?
It appears that way.
I will rightly light a candle for her soul this evening. But that will not give her absolution from what she faces kneeling before our Lord.
Now that Bishop Mountjoy is left, we can have a more thorough investigation of the church. Alright, so he's left. Perfect. So now we re-look through everything. I know our guy wanted to take some things here. The most regal of colors, a sign of royalty and wealth. I'm sure the good bishop will have no grievance with me borrowing this. The charcoal. The charcoal can be used on that note. Logical thinking shall always prevail. Okay. So now let's leave. Let's go use that charcoal on the notepad. So this whole like little chapter is about solving one problem, which leads to being able to solve another, and then it's kind of like steps. You gotta do it in a certain order, and if you do, you're all good. I'm just glad we actually came all the way back here to investigate. Okay, let's run all the way over here. And let's use that charcoal. There appears to be a faint indentation on the paper. Even from my impeccable vision, they are still too faint to comprehend. Perhaps the stick of charcoal I found may be of some use. Dearest Father, the board continues to question my every decision. They see me not as an equal or even an adequate curator. I cannot be sure how much longer I can take the constant barrage of abuse. You have always taught me to stand and face those that try and derail one from their path, but it is a task I find myself struggling with alone. Send Mother my love. I miss you both dearly. Perhaps this year you will join me in London for Christmas. All my love. Your Evie, X.
It looks like she was telling the truth after all.
About composing the letter, oui. But we cannot confirm where it was penned.
What's all this other stuff? I don't think it's from the letter to her father.
It seems we have stumbled across the names and addresses for the guests of the gala, although they are not all legible. We have gathered all the information we can from the guests at the gala, all except
Betty's husband, Mr. Christensen.
Oui. We are now in possession of his address, where he is no doubt hiding like a frightened young boy avoiding his headmaster's ruler.
That's right, let's go get him. This information is redundant unless we can find a map to help navigate us there. So now we need to find a map. I guess, right? That's the big thing. Well, it says talk to suspects. Well, the map would be what? Maybe the fast travel? Let's see. We'll find out right now. Nope. But let's go to the newspaper office. Maybe they can help us here. There we go. Map of London. A map of London with details and names of streets within the immediate area.
Voila.
And just like
And
that.
just like that, the address of Monsieur Christiansen's apartment.
Alrighty, we got it. Let's go get him. Chapter 6, The Suspects.
Remind me why we've lied our way into a man's apartment while he's not here?
Monsieur Christensen was accused of harassing a young lady who has now been murdered, and he has not been seen since, even by his wife.
Which is very suspicious.
Does that not strike you as peculiar?
Do you really think he could be capable of murder?
I believe everyone is capable, under the right circumstances. And right now, I believe Monsieur Christiansen is in that position. While we have no suspect to question, let us use our time wisely and search for clues. Leave no stone unturned.
Alrighty, Chapter 6, The Suspects. Well, let's see what we can find. We're not fast traveling, but we can interact with the dining table. Drinking such a considerable amount of alcohol is good for no one, whatever the circumstances, and then the smoking. I have seen the brand of cigarette somewhere before. Oh, yeah, you have. I wonder whose cigarettes those are. Maybe the woman that's dead. This drawer contains a Norwegian dictionary and a set of keys labeled spare study keys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we got the numbers. I guess there might be like a code or a lock that he has in Norwegian. And we have to try to figure out what the numbers are. Looks like we might have discovered everything here. Oh, there's an unknown item. Looks like a ring. The initials of Betty's husband. The initials of the owner, Betty Allen. A magnificent ring, such a personal design, shows how much he loved her. What could have gone so wrong? He was cheating. It has obviously been clean, as I can now make out the inscription, a date perhaps, 1412. Madame Allen gave her wedding ring back to her husband after I returned it to her just yesterday, meaning she lied about having seen him last night. Pourquoi? There is more to discuss with Madame Allen. Alrighty, so now we can talk more with the wife. And then that door is locked. But we definitely have the key to the study room. Perhaps the keys from the drawer may be of some use. Now we may investigate Monsieur Christensen's study. Alrighty. Let's get in here so we can actually turn this. An expensive cell, but of what? Full of musical notes, although a page has been clearly torn out. One step closer to revealing the truth. Okay, let's interact with the notepad. Okay, so we can't do nothing there. We're looking around, not really seeing anything. I don't really think we need to worry about the dining table just yet. No. Let's go. Well, let's talk to Hastings first, and then we'll go talk to his wife.
Monsieur Hastings, your assistance is required.
Of course. What do you need?
We'll talk to Betty.
What can I...
Alright, I believe we know who was smoking with Mademoiselle Court-Smythe on the night of her death. So who smoked with her? It was Johann. How do we know it was Mr. Christensen? And then the same brand.
Monsieur Christiansen was at the scene of the crime smoking with Mademoiselle Court-Smythe before her death.
It doesn't sound good for him.
Could he be the holder of the original Penitent Magdalene painting? He may very well have hidden it here.
Alrighty. So now... I mean, we can't really do anything else. Let's go talk to Betty. She's at the theater street, or she should be. And we'll ask her why she was lying to us. What secrets is she withholding from us? What's going on here?
Ah, Poirot. Good to see you.
The feeling is mutual, Monsieur Demire.
You and your formalities. Let's talk over here.
Is everything all right?
Miss Farquhar is interviewing Betty. I thought we should talk privately over here. I heard about Irene. Tragic news. And what's this I hear about poison?
Who told you that?
It doesn't take long for news like that to spread in this city.
I would appreciate some discretion between friends. But oui, Mademoiselle was poisoned.
Anything I can help with?
Once you left the museum yesterday?
I won't take offense, as I know you're just doing your job. I attended the evening performance of Betty's show. Anastasia and I had a grand old time.
Man, he's still in Poirot's woman.
She accompanied you as your date?
She was at a loose end after the gala. Don't worry, I'm not here to tread on any toes.
Sure. What can you tell me about Monsieur Christensen?
I mean, he can hold a conversation of sorts.
You do not think particularly highly of him.
I've never had a problem with him before. Look, I ran into him last night in a bar after the show, and by the looks of him, it wasn't his first drink of the night.
Oh, and that girl seemed to be partying, so he might have been partying with her.
He was trying to sell me a lucrative business opportunity, a way we could both make some quick money.
Did you take him up on his offer?
God, no. When someone offers you something that sounds too good to be true, it usually is.
And he probably dodged a bullet, because he probably would have ended up dead. After events at the Van den Bosch house.
That was some weekend. You should get him to tell you about it sometime.
Bragging is a sign of overconfidence and grandiose behavior.
You know, at first I found those kind of replies annoying. But now, charming almost.
I shall accept that as both a compliment and a sign of your maturity.
If it wasn't for the detective here, I would probably still be wallowing in my own anger and self-pity.
Yeah, he definitely had a lot of issues, and he was drinking heavily.
You have lived a life many of us have only heard about in stories. A life that we all hope no one will have to live again.
I second that.
Your family must be proud of the man you have become, as am I.
Alrighty, so we got all the information from him.
I will not take up any more of your time.
Okay, let's talk to Betty Allen.
I do not mean to interrupt.
Then perhaps you should wait until we have finished the interview.
Damn.
I do not mean to interrupt.
Then perhaps you should wait until we have finished the interview.
So she's not gonna let us talk to her until the interview's over. Which kind of sucks because we need to talk to her. Let's talk to Hastings here.
What do you need? What can I do for you?
I will not take...
Okay, so you can't do anything else. Since we can't talk to her, it means we're probably missing something. I mean, we might as well check everything out. We might as well go everywhere
Gentlemen,
else.
you're back.
Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Detective Hercule Poirot of the Kingdom of Belgium's police force.
You should have led with that before. Nathaniel Dryden, editor of the London Illustrated News.
My apologies. I was not aware of your position on our initial meeting.
That's quite all right. You were still more polite than most of the people that come through my door.
Yeah, we can ask if the that one politician who came here.
What can I do for you?
You interviewed Monsieur Ellsworth yesterday, correct?
I did, but that was supposed to be an exclusive. How did you know?
It is a detective's job to know such things.
So at least we know he was here.
Doesn't really explain how, but okay. He said he had something to tell me that was going to blow me away. I couldn't say no.
Was Mademoiselle Farquhar present at the time?
Indeed she was, although she was working on her own story, so I left her to it.
At no point did she leave the office?
She's a very hard worker and won't leave until the story is just how she wants it. Needless to say, she outstayed me.
Oh, she's definitely a hard worker.
She had photographs to develop too, so was in the dark room for some time. I'm sorry, gentlemen, but I have another appointment, if you don't mind.
Has Mademoiselle Farquhar had any visitors to the office?
This place is usually full of all sorts that think they have a story for us, or want to know more about something we've published.
I'm thinking that something might be going on in the dark room and we need to explore it.
I was meaning to mention that to Florence, actually.
Mention what, monsieur?
A young foreign girl came in asking about a piece that was on show at the museum. Originated in Eastern Europe somewhere, and Florence had written an article on it.
Did she say why she was so interested?
She said she was researching its journey from its first home with an affluent family. I forget the name. I couldn't tell her much more, besides that it was going to be moved from the museum shortly.
And that's going to be a Russian girl. And the reason why we knew she was Russian was because of her name, her family name.
No doubt into another exhibition somewhere.
Could this inquisitive young woman have been Mademoiselle Babagna? But why so curious about that particular piece of jewelry?
Very interesting.
Merci. You have been most accommodating.
And in reality, he says, I will not take up any more of your time. Alrighty, so that was a lot of information. Let us check out this desk. There's only one way to discover its contents. Alrighty. She was obviously unaware that Mademoiselle Farquhar was present with her camera. Interesting. What is she holding there? Her wrist? Addressed from Mademoiselle Court Smythe, but in exchange for what? The London and Providence Bank Limited paid to Miss Florence to the sum of £50 sterling. Interesting. Rather hard to see even when held against the light. Did she blackmail the girl because she saw it or whatever? I'm thankful my occupation does not keep me trapped in an office on days like this. Well, let's use that camera film. Camera film found at Mademoiselle Farquhar's workstation.
Sacre.
What is the
What
meaning
is
of
the
this?
meaning of this? It is the missing painting, and this photograph is identical to one that had been burnt in the fire.
Why did she have a picture of it? One step closer to revealing the truth. So Florence might be involved here. Oof. Well, that would not be good. Let's talk to Hastings here. Maybe he's got something to say.
What do you need? What can I do?
Nope.
I will not take up.
Alright, and we've been playing for about 30 minutes, so we're going to stop here today. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the links below, and next time we'll find out why she had a photo of the painting.